Well, long time no see. I've been terribly busy, as it happens. So today I'm just taking another pass. I intended initially to showcase the hardware of my Sun Spark Station, but let's say I don't really have. I thought I didn't have the time to do it, and I wanted to shoot something very quick and very to the point, and so I thought, well, I have that fantastic little laptop, and why not do it? And so I went to my parents and I picked it up, and I ended in endless troubles just to make it work. But I'm happy I did it. So today I introduce you to the mighty Epson HX-20, which was the very first laptop as we know it. Well, let's do it. So start up, and as you see on the tiny screen, it does initialize, monitor is there, basic is probably there, and then there's garbage, and the machine is almost right, and it drops you somewhere. Well, so let's do it again, maybe. So let's try to. Maybe that's the trouble. So I think it's not your 2K compliance. So let's do that. Today with 28th. Year will be 97. Time is 15:23. Oh. Yeah, super nice. So now it's clean. Okay. Hey, well, it's working. Damn, this thing is just incredible. So, well, let's start by what went wrong. So, this is a machine I actually found in a dumpster many years ago, and it was in perfect working condition, and I was plugging. Even the battery pack was, which is here now. You'll understand why. Even the battery pack was working. It was about 10 years ago, so the battery pack was already 20 years old. And the only thing I didn't find at the time in the dumpster with the machine itself was the wall plug. So I had to find one which was a variable voltage plug to give me something like the 6 volt required to charge the machine, and it worked alright for my purpose, which was already more museum concerns. And so I put it in my attic for years before I decided to to start this video channel, and when I pulled it out last week, I tried to charge it because of course it was flat, and then zilch, nothing, zero, nada. So I opened it, and I was thinking this was dead as a dodo. It was a normal assumption for a battery pack of 35 years of age. And in fact, it had some leftover charge, about 1.5 volt, not enough to power the machine for sure, but still. And I poke inside the computer with my trusted ohmmeter just to check things, and notably the fuse, because there is a fuse, very apparent fuse, and my fuse was busted. So as that didn't happen in storage, I tested my wall plug, and it seems that for an unknown reason the selector on my wall adapter doesn't work anymore, and it issues 12 volts continuous. So of course I fried the damn thing, and so I've just jury-rigged a bypass for the fuse inside, because I don't intend to charge it to a wall socket anymore. I won't be using it that much, and I cut the leads to the battery pack because it's definitely too old, and I used the leads, I cut them out by the back, and I pulled a regular battery pack just for the purpose of this video. So it's working, and it's actually quite nice. So the machine itself works, and we'll get inside to see why it was impressive for the day, and what it changed, and what could have been better, and things like that. So Epson HX-20 is the first commonly accepted laptop. It's not a current design, of course, as you can see. It's not a clamshell, so the screen is that tiny bit here. But it's got a full keyboard, it's got memory inside that's backed up by the battery when not in use. It can save text or programs or data to mass storage in the form of microtape. You can have an expansion memory. You can plug it to a modem, and you can, if you're very lucky, find a diskette drive system for mass storage again. So it was very cheap. It was around $800 in 1982. So while it's a bit more expensive than you'd hope today, it was still miles better than all that was at the time luggable, or the first laptop. For instance, the Grid Compass, if memory serves, was more in the $3,000 range than the $800. So it became an instant darling in the industry, and the commercial and the business world, because a commercial could hit the road, travel, take orders, and hop, with 300 baud modem it could push it to his company far away without going back to field paper forms. So it was, well, just fantastic. and it became also a darling of journalists who used it as a typewriter, but without the hassle of carrying paper and ribbons and things like that. So they could type their articles and store them in the machine and just put them in their system back at the office, or send them again on the telephone wires. So a very, very, very neat machine. Okay, I've just typed a very little program. It's in BASIC, of course, and the program I typed basically just prints on the screen the title of my channel, and then it will print it, if it works, on the tiny penny little printer here. I hope the ribbon isn't completely dry. Let's try that. Okay. So, well, well, of course, the ink is a bit faded at some point, but, well, as you can see, it pretty much works as expected. Just a ribbon. Okay, so very standard Microsoft BASIC, I believe. I don't know, no, it's well, yes, it's Microsoft BASIC. All right, as you see, and you know how much bytes you've consumed with your feeble programming attempts. So you could either program the computer with the keyboard. As you see, you've got nothing more in the basic configuration than a binary monitor and basic programming language. To use professionally this computer, you could add either a ROM chip underside, and I'll show you later because at the moment it's a bit shaky. And you also, I think, I'm not sure about that, in the expansion unit, which doubles the memory of the base unit, you've got two ROM sockets somewhere you can fill with more programs. And you could, of course, save your programs to the microcassette drive, or you could swap the microcassette unit with a ROM pack. And that was how you could use programs on this machine. And professionally, many companies had custom ROM packs designed to suit their needs and installed instead of the tape drive. Once the flat flex cable is removed from its socket and out of the way, you just open the computer like a book. As you can see, it's neatly organized in sections. So you have the LCD board, you have the keyboard board, and you have a very comprehensive shielding here. The main board is underneath, and the components are face down, so we have to remove everything to get to it. Just of note, this is a fuse that caused me trouble, and as you can see, I have made a shitty bypass There's no other word to describe it. But now I can't plug it back in the mains, otherwise I may really fry the electronics. And this is a lead that I cut to the battery pack, which there is another thing that goes like this to protect the back plugs. So if I want to have this permanently going out of the machine, I think I need to cut a hole or do something like that, because it's a tight fit. Maybe remove a corner or something. I've not decided yet. And we are in. So of interest, you have the two main processors. One is the master, and I believe that's this one, but don't take my word for it. And this one is a slave. So they are Epson made C630. As you can see, the layout is very neat. Here you have the ROMs with one free socket to hold some other programs, custom-made programs you may wish. And here you have the RAM in two banks, and they are static RAMs, 2 kilobytes each, time 8 equals 16 kilobytes, and the expansion has exactly the same content, 16 kilobytes in 2 banks of 2 kilobytes SRAM, static RAM. So it was an expensive RAM at the time, and it was chosen as a power saving measure, and because it raised the price of the board considerably. And on the other end, the processors are very slow because they are clocked at 600 kilohertz each, which is even at the time was pretty penny. But again, this was to save on energy, and the combination of those measures gives an autonomy of 50 hours on the power pack. 50 hours, not 15, 50. This was impressive in the day, it's still impressive today, in fact, and this machine was superbly engineered to achieve its goals. As you see, Epson has an habit of naming boards, so it's a Mozu board, whatever that means. So the machine is nearly put back together, and interestingly enough, you can see at the bottom that there are some trapdoors in the plastic. This one is fairly easy to understand. It gives you direct access to the ROMs, so you can plug your optional module here, or you can update if need be the basic programs of the machine. It's very straightforward, but there is another trapdoor, and there I absolutely don't know why, but you have a direct access to one of the processors. So the processor is a C63010CB. It's made by Epson, and as I read it somewhere, it's Motorola's 6800 compatible. And I don't know why you add this direct access to a processor. maybe they envisioned an upgrade path or something. I just don't know. And and so the computer is back together, and I finally made up my mind, and I dig the hole through the back cover to let the power leads out. I will make a plug someday in the future. Now I have to put the tape drive in its place. Yeah, better. It's more easy to fit it in than to remove it. And now I'm in for a long moment of loneliness, because this is how you secure this to the side. And so you have at least 6 screws to put back before the expansion is secured. I'll show you once it's finished. So let me be clear, this is the most ungodly design I ever seen in computing. I mean, Steve Jobs would have had a fit of slaughter and maybe would have burned Apple headquarters to the ground if an engineer had the gall to show him something like that. So, finished. Well, it's not what I call exactly pretty, but you have to confess that it does the job very well. And as you can see, so it's very sturdy and very nicely put together. And finally, the computer, as you can see, fit in its case, and as I said, the case was not made for the expansion unit, but it's so neat that you can't help but imagine that it at least popped in the mind of someone in the design department before. Well, that's finished for today, and I hope you enjoyed this little showcase of the HX-20. I did not emphasize as much as I had wanted the software part, because I had a lot to say about hardware. But anyway, I hope you liked what you saw, and please tell me in the comments if you liked it, or just I don't know, thumb up on this video. In any case, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.